Welcome in. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. We're live for the July Boss event. And I say this every single time. I'm going to say it again today. I love doing these lives. The reason I love doing these lives is because I feel like I'm hanging out with you guys because I can see you over in the chat. I kind of feel like we're more connected, and I just really appreciate you showing up. Thank you so very much. What I want to find out from you first, before we get into the good stuff, is where are you from? And what are you doing? I'm here in Central Florida, and we are right on the precipice of a huge thunderstorm. So I'm hoping that the power doesn't go out and the thunder crashing doesn't have, dramatic effect for you guys. So I see Diane Lambert. Thank you so much. Hi, sweetie. How are you? We're looking forward to coming to Crystal River, and we can go paddling together. Diane is a new friend of mine. I met her at the meet and greet. Mary Clarkson, good morning. Wanda, good morning from Georgia. Cindy, Colleen from Arizona, Lexington, South Carolina, Angela from Omaha, Laura from North Carolina, Paradise, Texas, Sue, hello. Tori from Sarasota, you're my neighbor. I haven't been to Sarasota yet this year. I have visited there in the past. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Denton, Texas, Massachusetts, Wisconsin. So glad you guys are here. I have probably one of the most exciting boss events this month that we've had so far. And I'm so thrilled with these boss events. I think that you guys are really finding it fun and useful. And if you want to continue to do it, let me know, because we are all out for boss events throughout 2023. And I don't know, do we want to keep doing this in 2024? Is it just a one and done sort of thing? If you don't know what a boss event is, I'll let you know right now. BOSS stands for Big Bold Super Sale. And what I have done is I have contacted all the companies, most of the companies that are the smaller companies, the entrepreneurial companies that mean a lot to me, that I love their products. I love the culture of the company. I think they have great integrity. They just come from a place of passion, and ask them to provide a special sale only for the viewers of Pretty Over 50. These sales are not available anywhere else. And I tell them, make sure that it's a good sale and it's only for my viewers. And that's what we do for the entire month. So if you like these sales, if you think this is a good idea, let me know and I'll start thinking about 2024. Right now, we're pretty much booked for 2023. And every company that we're working with are companies that I really do have a passion for, because they have a passion for their product and for their customers. So excited about that. Susan from Delaware, Belle from Minnesota. Oh, Q-Top, thank you. I have a new collection of warm summer tops because it's a 2-shower-a-day season here in Florida. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is we are not alone. This is going to be a different live today because the owner and founder of the company is joining me on the live. Now, the reason I wanted this person to come on is because the depth of knowledge is so much more than I have. And I thought that this would be a really good idea and a good time for me and you to ask a lot of questions. Now, if you want to ask a question of this very learned person, put them in all caps. Put your questions in all caps over in the chat so that I know it's a question. And I'll try to monitor the chat so that I can get those questions. But take advantage of this because we've got some brains in the house. And let's go ahead and get all our questions answered. So if you're ready, and remember, all caps for your questions. Upstate New York, love those sales. Where's the fur babies are in the bedroom with the door shut because the cat would be jumping on the table. Lucy would be wanting me to pet her. It's just a train wreck mess. They're in the back room where they're going to stay for the whole live. All righty, let's go ahead and invite our lovely guests. You guys might know who he is. Once you see them, hi, Garrett. This is Garrett from Boys, and I'm so happy that you're here, my friend.
Thank you.
I tell you how much I love this young man. I mean, I really, really do. And when I say young, This man is 24 years old. I know he looks like he's 17. He's 24. And what he has done, 25? Oh, you turned 25. He has done with this incredible company at his very young age just continually blows me away. I have so much respect and admiration and appreciation for Birch Boys, the company that Garrett built, because he does it with such integrity. He really does take time to bring great products to market. He believes in what he does because it's, it is making such a difference. And I love everything about his company. If you're not getting his email newsletters, I'll tell you what, he has the best email newsletters. They're so wonderfully written and so informative. So Garrett, welcome today. I know you're probably embarrassed of me gushing over him. I was telling you earlier, he's like, he could be the son I never had, but he's too young. And he could be the grandson I never had, but he's too old. So I guess he's just the nephew I never had. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And shout out to whoever said upstate New York, because I'm also in upstate New York.
Okay, we already have a question. Do I need to take Chaga every day, and can I give it to my dogs daily? Thanks. Let's not answer that question right yet. Let's go ahead and jump in to the sale from Birch Boys. Of course, Chaga is the product that you guys know. It is like my secret, wonderful food, superfood ingredient. So Garrett, why don't you tell us a little bit about the sale that you put together for the Pretty Over 50 viewers for this month? Then I want to hear a little bit how you got started on this incredible journey that you're on, and then we'll jump into some questions.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the sale is pretty straightforward. If you go to birchboys.com/prettyover50, we have built a new page on our website dedicated to Kimberly's sales and coupons, and they're exclusive to her viewers. You can't actually find the website unless you type it in. I believe it's in the description below. But it's a 25% discount. It applies to all Chaga products and all Lion's Mane products. So that includes a lot of products. We have the tincture for Lion's Mane, but then when it comes to Chaga, we have anything Chaga related, from tea bags to skin cream to tincture to Chaga Now. That all is discounted as well. It's 25% off.
Oh gosh, thank you so much. That's such a generous discount. I'm really appreciative. And you guys know how much I love Chaga and how important it's been to my health routine. Garrett, let's start really quickly with how you got involved in this whole business, how this came to be. And then I want to start drilling down and asking you specific questions about both Chaga and Lion's Mane. So how did this ever get started for you?
So I was always kind of an enterprising kid. I wanted to start a business. I knew that by the time I was like 13. And mowing lawns is what I started with. I used to mow my grandmother's lawn. She was one of like 6 people I was mowing for that summer. And I came inside after mowing her lawn one day, and I was very thirsty. And I opened her fridge, and I found this big jug of iced tea in her fridge, and I drank it. And she came in and looked at me like I was a ghost. And she just thought it was absolutely hilarious because I was drinking the Chaga that she had just found and picked in her backyard. And she had just tried this like a few times because she had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and that she learned about Chaga. And so she started drinking it, for the health benefits. And I just happened to walk in on that and drink it on accident. And I started seeing this Chaga everywhere I went in the forest. She pulled me into the yard and showed me how to pick it. And I just couldn't stop myself from harvesting it everywhere I went. And I acquired so much of it that we decided to take it to farmers markets. And the rest is history. That's how I learned about it.
Well, how did you go from, okay, I'm going to sell this at a farmer's market, to thinking this is going to be my business? This is a passion for me. I mean, that's a big leap. And so if you started a business, there's a lot of moving parts. It's not a small thing. So how did it go from farmer's market to I'm going to become a Chaga business?
I really appreciate that question. So I started selling Chaga at the Potsdam Farmers Market, and in Potsdam, there is a school called Clarkson University, a school of engineering and business. I met a recruiter for Clarkson University there, and she kind of like wooed me in on the idea of Clarkson's business program. But at the time, I really didn't think that Birch Boys was like a viable career path. I really had it in my head I was going to be an engineer, just because everyone told me that's how you make good money and get a good job. So anyway, I ended up pursuing this degree, which was like a half business, half engineering degree. And I met a kid. I skipped my senior year of high school, by the way. I went a year early in this early entrance program. And then I met a kid there who had a maple business. He had maple syrup products, and his family was able to really kind of help him along in the development of his business from a young age. And we ended up teaming up because one of our business classes, we had to basically form an idea with our classmates and pitch at the end to real investors for real money. And so him and I came up with this idea to make a maple chaga tea. And it was actually kind of tragic because we got $7,000 in funding offered, but Josh's actual business, the maple business, started to really take off. He went on Shark Tank. He ended up getting into Costco. And I honestly felt like the best thing I could do as a supportive friend was to not let this idea get in his way. And so then I had this taste of success, right? And then that next summer, I thought a lot about what I wanted to do, and I asked my school if I could intern for my own business for my next fall of my sophomore year of college, and they let me. And I was determined to do them right because they took a chance on me. And I went to all of these different competitions, a retail and health innovation challenge at Wake Forest. I won $65,000 in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I just kind of like went on this crazy streak. And I mean, I was competing. The judges of some of these contests were like pharmaceutical representatives from Johnson and Johnson and CVS, and they knew about chaga. They knew about the things I was talking about, and they were quite open. Like, it's just not patentable, so that's why they're not studying it. That's why it's not going to be in medicine. But they supported me, and it was so cool. It was a wild time, and then I really had the confidence to do the rest.
Yeah. Gosh, that's such a great story. I hadn't heard that story before.
Yeah,
I feel like I learned something new. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys how I got started on chocolate and how I found Garrett. It was back at the beginning of the kerfluffle, and I knew I really wanted to make sure my immune system was in really good shape. And I'd been hearing some rumblings that chaga really was a great immune support product. Now, chaga is a very dense, firm mushroom that grows on the side of a tree, only specific trees. Garrett knows all this stuff. And you can make a tea out of it. And I heard people saying chaga tea or using the chaga tea to make coffee. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to include that. So I started Googling chaga and I found Birch Boys. Well, I ordered the Birch Boys chaga chunks and I would make the tea, and then I would use that tea as the base, as the water for my coffee. So I would have my coffee in the morning, which you guys know is a very important part of my happiness. I'd have my coffee in the morning, but it was made with chaga tea, so I knew I was getting good immune support with my morning coffee, kind of like, making sure that I did it every single day. When I talked about it in a video and I hadn't met Garrett, I didn't know anything about him or anything, so many of you went to Birch Boys and started using the chaga chunks that Garrett hunted me down. And I still don't know, it's kind of an internet thing. He hunted me down and said, "Who are you and what did you do?" You just kind of brought people to my site. So that's how our relationship built from there, and I learned more about him. I'm so impressed with him. I just feel like people like Garrett and people like him are the heart of our country, and they're the hope for the future. Really good companies with great integrity and really caring about the product that they're using. So Garrett, that's kind of how I got introduced to chaga, was I wanted that immune support. Can you talk about what we can really look at as effects of chaga in our diet? Are there any contraindications? I know someone asked about contraindications over there. So talk about what having chaga in your diet. And let me just show you guys now. There's a new product. I don't use the chunks anymore. I use chaga now, which is a product that Garrett came up with. And what I do is, this is powder and it's really, really concentrated. I'll take my little scoop and I'll scoop a little bit of this and just put it in the pot for my morning coffee. And then when my coffee brews, it brews into that pot with the chaga now. And so I end up having it every single day. That's how I do it. Super easy, just a great way to get it into your diet. Can you talk about what are the health, what can we possibly see as health benefits from chaga? Are there any contraindications, and what can you tell us about why we want to get chaga into our diets?
Yeah, so I mean, I look at chaga honestly as just like nutrition for your immune system. And really, if you look at the compounds, the intrinsic chemistry going on in chaga, there's a lot of polysaccharides, polyphenols. In fact, we just got tests on our chaga now, showing the amount of polyphenols per serving. If you don't know what polyphenols are, you're not alone. And you could Google it, but basically polyphenols play an extremely important role in immune functions. So they modulate the immune system. They kind of have, chaga has a natural ability to work with our immune system and make it smarter. And that is what I find so interesting about chaga. There's a lot of different reasons you might hear about chaga, or different spheres of influence that, my grandmother was battling cancer when she learned about chaga. And that's due to some even more complex and even less understood chemistry in chaga. There are some compounds called triterpenes in chaga, which are these massive long chain molecules. And if you think about CBD for perspective, CBD is a terpene. And so with all the benefits of CBD, a triterpene is just like, a 3 times the size molecule of CBD. It's 3 terpene units, and it's so massive that it's able to perform like 6 or more chemical reactions at once. So if you just think about what these molecules are doing in your bloodstream, in the body, it's like you have this massive, superhero compound that is able to do a lot of different things. It has melanin from coagulating your blood to protecting from UV radiation. And then the other thing about chaga that is really kind of fascinating is its detox abilities. So like, some people have even noticed after drinking chaga that they'll have like foul smelling urine. And it's because the chaga is like helping their body detox. The melanin in chaga can chelate certain like metals and toxic particles that get stuck in the body. And that chelation is just helping you basically turn a solid into a liquid without reaching its normal melting point. And it allows your body to pass things. So there's a lot of different benefits we could get into, but to maybe answer the big question on the contraindications, I would say that chaga is a powerful natural medicine. I don't claim chaga can actually fight or treat any disease, but so medicine in air quotes, but it's powerful. It's not something that you'd want to take more than you need. You can take chaga every day. I would just say follow the suggested serving size on the BIRCH Boys products. We're quite clear. We have a full blog as well on chaga warnings that goes in depth. Chaga does have some properties that are maybe undesirable in certain circumstances. For example, it can thin your blood. So like if you have a surgery coming up tomorrow, don't drink chaga tonight. You'd want to avoid having chaga within about 48 hours of surgery. If you have osteoporosis or are prone to kidney stones, you want to make sure that you just don't overconsume chaga. And again, healthy consumption of chaga is a good thing, but like too much consumption of chaga can be a bad thing, especially for people that fall into that category.
Right. When you say that chaga makes your immune system smarter, expand on that. What does that mean?
Yeah, so like your immune system, and if you really, really want to get into this, there's these things called cytokines, and this was actually really popular talk during COVID, right? The cytokine storm was a phenomenon that basically the immune system has these pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory cytokines. And what a cytokine is like a messenger molecule. So your cells send these messenger molecules to your different parts of your body to kind of tell it how to react to different things. And so like there's IL-6, which is a cytokine, which is a pro-inflammatory cytokine, right? So basically sometimes your body is wrong about what it thinks it has to do. Like if you have an autoimmune disorder, oftentimes it's because your body might be producing too many pro-inflammatory cytokines or not enough anti-inflammatory cytokines. And it's just like doing the wrong thing. And chaga has this amazing ability, different constituents within the chaga, to modulate your actual immune cells, your fighter T cells, and like correct course, right? So I mean, like it affects, chaga will change the way that our body is producing cytokines in like in a corrective sort of way. And so that's what when I say modulate the immune system, it's because chaga isn't an immune booster. Like people that are afraid, oh, I have an overactive immune system, so I don't want to boost my immune system. That's not like the right way to think about chaga, because that's not what it's going to do. It's going to modulate your immune system. So, and why it does that, we're still trying to figure that out. It's just like, it's fascinating how much so many of these like natural things can do these. It's like almost like a brilliant design, you know?
Imagine that.
Yeah, right.
Mine here on Earth with so many natural solutions. Oh my gosh. Someone over the comments said it was a kerfluffle storm.
Yes.
The whole kerfluffle thing. I have a question for you. I started taking my chaga from tea. I would take the chunks, put them in my crock pot, run it overnight, and then I would have at least a week worth of water for my coffee, or it was actually chaga tea. Now I use the chaga now because it's so stinking handy, and I just put not even half of one of these in my coffee every morning, because it's one person. I'm one person. I like 2.5 cups of coffee. Is there any difference between the compounds in this and the compounds from the chaga chunks? In other words, is there anything missing from this or anything missing from the chunks? What happens when you convert it into the chaga now?
Another great question. So as far as I'm aware, and I would say it's based on some pretty good knowledge and research and testing, that you are getting the exact same thing by brewing chaga chunks as you're getting in chaga now. And just to add context, like we make the chaga now in a 45-gallon steam kettle. We take ground chaga and we brew it for 72 hours. So we have this like extremely dark liquid. We use 22 pounds of chaga in 40 gallons for our batch. And then we actually take all of that, strain the chaga away, and evaporate all of the water. So we're literally like drying chaga tea. And we're doing it in a way that's clean, safe, but also it's not destructive to the compounds that are in it, because typically companies that make these extract powders will freeze dry them, or they'll have a lyophilizer, which is just a fancy name for a freeze dryer, or a spray dryer, or an infrared oven. And a lot of these just reach extreme temperatures, like 300-degree Fahrenheit temperatures or negative 100-degree Fahrenheit temperatures. And what you find is that there's actually some sort of loss going on. Some of those compounds either get degraded or they sublime away in that process. But we're just using dry forced air in basically an enclosed room through dehumidification technology. So it's pretty natural. It's like we put the chaga now in a desert and dry it, and it's the same thing, literally. And then if I could go off of that, there is a differentiation between like the tincture and the tea, and I do think that's a topic to discuss. There are alcohol soluble components in the mushrooms, like for example those triterpenes I was talking about. Those are not going to dissolve in water, so you can brew chaga for as long as you want. You can drink as much chaga tea as you want. You're not going to get any of the triterpenes. We wrote a blog that also goes benefit by benefit and determines whether it's water soluble and alcohol soluble to better explain which benefits come from the tea versus the tincture. But you can think of the tinctures as like sort of like a full spectrum extract, because you have more of everything in the mushroom. You just have less of the water soluble parts.
Okay, so you do get some additional ingredients from the tincture that you don't get in the tea.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, maybe I'll start doing the tincture.
Well, but for the immune benefits, right? And like, I mean, chaga is something that if you take every day proactively in a tea form, that is doing so much for your immune system. And most of the immune supporting benefits are coming from the water soluble parts, the polyphenols.
And I just want to say this to everyone. I had chaga tea during the whole kerfluffle, and I never got kerfluffled.
Really? You never got it? Wow.
No.
Even I did.
No, I never got kerfluffled.
Oh, so, wait. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what kerfuffled means.
It means I didn't get the cooties.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But I take D and I take zinc. You know, my immune system is very important because I hate being sick. Anyway, all right. That is very, very helpful. I think, can you eat chaga mushrooms? That's a question over in the comments. I don't know if you'd want to. Are they?
I'm glad that was asked, because it's really just not good for your digestive tract, because the cell walls are chitinous. They're made out of chitin, and it's very hard. It's like a dense, and actually the one woman that actually died from chaga, there's a story. If anyone's asking about contraindications, this is just one person that ever happened this. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. One person died because they were eating 4 tablespoons a day of chaga.
Yeah, not good.
One person ever, and that's just not, I don't think anyone is advising that. But yeah.
It's just use anything in moderation. You take it too much. One person asked, this is a good question, would chaga be beneficial for a person with HIV?
Mm-hmm. So I just have to be careful in the way I answer these things, but I mean, yeah, I would Google that question if you really wanted to learn more about it, because there's some fascinating research on that topic. And we're going to be making it live. We had to take it down because it's technically illegal to have on our website, but we had a database of all of the mushroom studies organized by date, by mushroom, by benefit. So you could actually click chaga, HIV benefits, and then pull up all of the studies organized by when they were published. And I backed that up, but we had to get into this trade show, and you can't link to any studies to get into the trade show, which is kind of ridiculous. But yeah,
well, the medical complex is making sure that we don't figure out how to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's a good question and a great segue into the next topic I want to talk about. How does chaga compare to lion's mane? So I want to talk with you guys about lion's mane. We have all been hearing so much about lion's mane, me included. I said, all right, I've heard so much about this, and I didn't drill down in people, on what it was they were feeling or whatever, just that lion's mane was really, really an important supplement that does wonderful things. I started taking lion's mane about, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I intentionally did not look at any information. I didn't look at what I could possibly, what benefits I could possibly see, because I didn't want to be impacted by what I read or think I'm feeling something that I'm not really feeling. So I've been taking this lion's mane tincture. Here's what I've noticed. I have noticed that I am clear and on point with my thinking. Just, it's almost like all the cobwebs have been cleared out. And I'm feeling a little bit more like a fast twitch energy resource. In other words, I have it feels like a fast twitch energy source that I'm moving quicker and with less thought. So that's what I've noticed about lion's mane. I know you know about lion's mane, so tell all of us, what's the deal with lion's mane, and why should an old broad like me be taking lion's mane?
Yeah, so I mean, you hit the main nail right on the head with that. And she's not kidding either. When we were in the studio before she went live, the transition to going live, I was like, wow, you're very good at this. Really, you're very sharp. You didn't even think about it. But lion's mane basically is great for your brain. There's been a lot of studies. A lot of them have been done on mice. There are some trials on humans, which is an awesome thing, because not all of the mushrooms have human trials, but a lot of studies on mice. So from literally solving mazes, food-based mazes where they're measuring how long it takes the mice to go through the maze and find the food, all the way to like, let me see, I have it in front of me here. They have visual recognition recall tests, right? And the mice that, I don't even know how a mouse performs a recall test on visual memory, but they were performing much better on the ones that were given lion's mane. Now, there's also a kind of sad study that is about a crushed peripheral nerve on mice, and it shows that it rebuilt itself for the mice and with lion's mane. And this is why lion's mane has really become well known with people with neurodegenerative disorders. My mom has MS, so it's kind of funny because not that she has MS, but that I was trying to get her to take lion's mane because, you know, I was with her when she got diagnosed. It was kind of scary. She was for a while taking shots, you know, that she, I think 4 times a day, had to give herself a shot in her gut. And it was just like scary drugs, you know, scary medications. And then her lesions got worse the very first time after she started the medication. And I was extremely concerned. And she went to the Mayo Clinic and she learned about lion's mane. And she was like, oh my God, that's like, Garrett, that's that stuff that you've been working with. And I'm like, yes, Mom, I've been trying to get you to take it seriously. And then she did. She's been taking lion's mane every day ever since. She actually no longer takes medication for MS. As of now, her lesions have not gotten any worse than that second evaluation. The MS or the Mayo Clinic actually disagreed with the diagnosis that she had MS, and then she went to a specialist who thinks she kind of has MS, and which just to me showed like the reality of some of what the categorical black and white nature of these diagnoses are. You know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical expert, but I think that we have a tendency to label things and split different thoughts into these labels. And I think that really it's a lot more complex, and everyone's on a spectrum of health. And so I don't know if it's appropriate to say that my mom has been healed by lion's mane of MS, but I can tell you that she takes it every day. She swears by it, and she hasn't had any progression, and she does go annually to check those lesions.
Mm-hmm. That's a fascinating story. I am particularly intrigued by the research on the neurodegeneration and how it can improve that, because that's what I noticed it was so I'm thinking the same way, but the tunnel that the thoughts go through is clearer and crisper. In other words, it's just so effortless to do the mental gymnastics that I have to do for some things than it has been in the past, which I absolutely love. Tell us about, I don't even know what a lion's mane mushroom looks like. And
Yeah.
can you give us more information?
First, I just want to say, because of the way you explain that myelin, lion's mane, there's a lot of studies that shows it can regenerate myelin, which is the sheath that goes around your nerve cells.
Oh,
and
that's
it's like a tunnel in a way. So that was just kind of wacky to hear you say that. But lion's mane is a mushroom that grows on hardwood trees. It's saprobic, meaning that it actually decomposes dead trees. In my neck of the woods, it grows on beech trees. But lion's mane is a mushroom that you can actually cultivate. So you can take, you know, sawdust and actually inoculate it with, you know, as long as it's not treated lumber, which is very important. You want to make sure you really dig into this if you're buying cultivated lion's mane. We're certified organic, but we do work with a cultivator, just because there's not as much lion's mane as there is chaga here in the wild. But it grows, it looks like a big hairy ball of like white, basically. It's like a white ball of hair.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen those at farmers markets and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're probably one of the most prominent farmers market mushrooms, and you can eat lion's mane. People like to eat lion's mane.
Is it good?
Some people say it tastes like seafood. I like it, but I'm like, I haven't ever had gourmet lion's mane. I'm like taking it that's been dried already, you know, and just kind of boiling it or eating some after we brew a tincture batch. Just I feed it to my dog, Joey, and he loves it.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, this is how I do this. the dose that they talk about, the daily dose for this is 4 mLs. This dropper full on this one, you have the larger bottle there, Garrett. Can you hold that up?
Yes, and the larger one comes with a larger.
Yeah. So for this one, I'll just take a little dropper full several times a day. And then I go ahead and just drink my tea. I drink dandelion root tea all day long. Great for detoxing your liver. Give your liver some love. So I'll take a dropper of this and I'll slam it with that because, to be honest with you, this doesn't taste that great. But I have gotten used to it. It's better than it was before. But I'll tell you, I don't think I'll ever not take this because the difference in the clarity that I have now is really significant. And I do think it's impacted my energy as well. And somebody down here says, how to keep the myelin sheath from disappearing. So I didn't know how important that was, but I certainly could innately sense that that was what was going on. Now I want to backtrack just a little bit. So the Lion's Mane is on the sale for the whole month. 25% off the Lion's Mane for the whole month, 25% off all the Chaga products. And I want to talk about the Chaga lotion in just a minute. Do you have the lotion there? Mine's in the bathroom.
I do. Like I use it every single day.
But I want to ask you first, because someone put this in the comments. She's saying, what is the right amount? If you're going to brew Chaga tea or if you're going to use the Chaga now, based on your experience, what's the right dosage? Because clearly we want to get it into our diet, but just like anything else, we don't want to have too much. So what's the right dosage in your mind for the Chaga now, or just the Chaga in general?
So if you can look at that in a couple of ways. You can look at it based on risk of over consuming, and you can look at it based on benefits that you're looking for in the positive amount. Let's look at it both ways. We did a test to see how many oxalates are in Chaga. That's the actual component that is going to cause kidney stones if you're over consuming it. It's also what killed the woman who was eating 4 tablespoons. Now there's a bunch of insoluble oxalates in Chaga, which means they don't dissolve in water. That's why she was harmed, because they won't be in a tea. They won't be in a tincture, but if you eat Chaga, they will be there.
Okay. So, all right.
So really, that's not as big of an issue as people think. We actually found there's only 17 milligrams of soluble oxalates in a cup of Chaga tea based on like the serving of the Chaga now. And just to put that into perspective, a half cup of spinach has 450 milligrams of soluble oxalates. So
yeah, we're talking about, I mean, the benefits are huge.
Right.
And Garrett is just, he's steeped in integrity, so he just wants to make sure that everybody's clear. But I think if just drinking it in your coffee in the morning is going to have such enormous benefits. I really do appreciate it. I hate being sick. This keeps me from getting sick, and it certainly has for me. That's been my experience. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
Now, Garrett, is the lotion been in your product line for how long now?
Yeah. So actually, when I was in college at Clarkson University, I met this woman. Her name is Sandy Main, and she's a bit of a local legend. And she's been making skincare products since 1979. So she started a company called Sunfeather, and she sold it after 20 years. And then she started her dream business, which is called Adirondack Fragrance and Flavor Farm. She lives around the Amish, and she works with the Amish and has a big farm out in Parrishville, New York. It's about an hour from me. And she grows all of these herbs. She has an incredible facility, which largely inspired, my facility for fungi. And she has a soap factory. So she does all of these things. And she came to me and she was like, hey, you got to make a Chaga skin cream, and I was like, I would love to have a Chaga skin cream. And she immediately came up with like 6 testers, and she came up with the formulation. I did absolutely none of the work. And I had never really used a skin cream. I was a 18-year-old boy in college, I will say though, that once she did that and I started using the cream and I started selling it, I couldn't stop selling it even if I tried. Customers love this cream, and I do too. It's like, I find that it's the only thing that really alleviates serious inflammation or irritated skin for me, whether that's a mosquito bite or because I've been working with my hands and my hands are just sore, to just having dry skin. This cream.
Can you hold it up again so that we can see it?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's like I feel kind of bad about this. Garrett had sent it to me a while ago, and I just put it aside because you guys, there's so many products that I get sent. I just can't try everything. He finally sent it to me again just recently, and I tried it. And oh God, I love the formula. The formula is beautiful. And here's what I would suggest, because it's on a good sale. It is so good for things like sunburn, for rashes, for skin irritation, any type of skin that's cranky and unhappy is going to really benefit from this. Keep it on hand. If you don't use it for lotion every day, I love it as a daily lotion. It's just, I'm in the sun a lot. It's nice for me to have that little extra sense of sun protection from the chaga in the lotion. At least keep some on hand so that if you've got a rash, if you've got a burn, if someone in your family's got a skin condition, you've got that. And I think that you're going to love the formula. And I did not know the story behind it. And that just makes me so happy that really the kind of companies I think we need more of in this country, the real organic, health-based, clean ingredients, local. It's like, thank you again for being incredible with your product line.
And on the cream, there's a variation. We have a fragrance-free version of the cream, which was actually the newer creation. I think that's what I sent you. We have a fragrance version, which is lavender and patchouli. And what I've happened to notice over the years is that everyone loves lavender, it seems. People either love patchouli or they hate it. So I eventually I came out with it. You love it? Did you say?
I do, because that was my generation. Hello, patchouli oil.
I'll send you some and you're going to love it even more then. I didn't want to take the chance.
Hey, listen, tie-dye t-shirts, patchouli oil, beads, that was my deal. That was our generation.
I should have known it. I wasn't around then, so I guess I don't really, it's hard for me to visualize that time, but apparently that's what it was all about.
So just to clarify, there is a fragrance-free and there is a fragrance, and I want to try the fragrance one. That just sounds like right up my alley. Yeah. So you guys, that lotion is really, really good. I've actually started using it pretty regularly in my routine. Of course, I've got lots of lotions, so it kind of cycles in and out, but I do like all the benefits of it. And here's another one. Diane says, I love patchouli. I know, I do too. We'll have to wear patchouli, Diane, when we go kayaking. Remind ourselves of it. So anything else that you want to share with us about the special for this month? I know it's 25% off all the Chaga products and the lion's mane. And you guys, if you're feeling a little fuzzy, I'll tell you, this lion's mane is, it's for me, it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I'll say is that the lion's mane, more so than any other product that I sell, is something that people feel tangibly, something that people notice when they don't take. I'm the type of person that can fall asleep after I drink a cup of coffee, so I'm not, and I really use the 4 milliliters. You can start less than that. But that is based on science. We have a full formulation write-up, and we've tested the product. And the other thing lion's mane is great for is depression and anxiety. We didn't really get into that, and that's okay. But really, mood disorders, people seem to just do better with lion's mane. And it's Mental Health Awareness Month, so it just feels fitting that we did this sale on lion's mane and chaga. And especially when taken together, I think there's a magic thing going on. Right.
That's fascinating. So it really is kind of a mood modulator as well, or it has positive impact on mood. That's so huge. Mm-hmm. I truly feel, and this is my opinion, you guys, you know this about me, I feel like we're living in this toxic soup that is not good for us. And anything that we can do to support our bodies in a healthful way is so important, because we've got to get this planet cleaned up of all these chemicals and yuck that's on there, and keep ourselves healthy along the way. So I'm excited about that. I love my lines. Now, there's been a couple of questions. What does chaga taste like? When I used to make the chaga tea, in the crock pot overnight, it's very, very mild on its own. It almost has no flavor. Someone asked, can they sprinkle this on their cereal? The answer is, I don't know. You might try just a little bit and see how it tastes. My experience with chaga is that it's very mild. It's not shocking or strong or anything. And it's super easy to get into my diet every day by just adding it to my coffee. And if you're looking to support your immune system in a very smart and healthful way, this is a great way to do it. Make sure you take your D and your zinc and all that stuff. Of course, this is not medical advice because I'm not a doctor, but we want to support our immune system from all kinds of different directions. All right, so we have the sale going on throughout the entire month. Thank you very much. I'm so excited about this, and I just love your company so much. I love that what you've done with it. And I can imagine where you're going to be in 5-10 years. It's just truly going to be a lot of fun to watch because I'm just so enamored and impressed by you.
Thanks, Kimberly. I appreciate it.
Oh, look at, let's see, okay, it says, I would love to do chaga, but I have glaucoma. Do you know anything about that?
My dog has glaucoma. I have a 13-year-old dachshund, and he has a perianal hernia, glaucoma. I don't understand what there would be interacting, unless that's the question. Is there an interaction with glaucoma and chaga? If so, I'm not aware of any. I'm not extremely educated on glaucoma. I give my dog drops for it every morning, and I give my dog chaga. I noticed with Joey, you know, it's nice because when you can control the inputs and take away free will, you can really see the difference of something like lion's mane or chaga. When you really feed your dog nutrition, you know, because of his problems, I've had to just stop giving him food from I stopped giving him store-bought food, and we make much of his food custom, and it's night and day.
Yeah, I'm going through the same thing with my animals. I had a big health condition with my cat, and I'm done with the store-bought stuff because I found out that what's in the store-bought stuff was what created his condition. And it's just a shame. It's a shame that they're selling that. And I thought I was providing this really healthful food, and well, you know, I was lied to yet again. Anyway, there we have it. Go ahead.
Carolyn asked if we're in any stores in upstate New York. Yes, we're in basically every co-op or independent health food store in northern New York. If you go to birchboys.com, there's a store locator. You can put in your zip code, and it will tell you all the stores nearest to you.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. Are you going to try to go nationwide?
Well, yeah, we actually have a distributor in Massachusetts. We're actually in some stores in Florida. We're in a lot of the states in the Northeast and New England, most of them actually. We're kind of poorly distributed in the South and the West, but we're working on it.
Oh, that's exciting. I didn't know that you had any retail outlets. So good for you. You're going to become, you know, I call you Mr. Mushroom in my mind. So, yeah. Well, let me tell you guys, the special again this month is 25% off any Chaga products and any Lion's Mane products from Birch Boys. And when you click the link, it's in the description box down below. It'll take you right to the Pretty Over 50. We created a page on Garrett's site because I asked him to. I said, look, can we just have a private page so that people can go all over there? And he was very gracious, and he did that. So everything that I use and I love is listed there. And if there's other things that I end up adding to my daily routine, I'll definitely ask Garrett to throw those up as well. But right now I can tell you the Chaga now is in my coffee pot every single morning. This lion's mane is amazing for my brain. Apparently I was a little cobwebby. And then the lotion that Garrett has, that's in my bathroom. I absolutely love it. It's a really, really cool lotion. So Garrett, thank you for taking time out of your busy day as an entrepreneur to spend time with us and answer the questions. I do want to tell you guys that if you sign up for Garrett's emails, you will learn a lot. His emails are excellent, and he really is, you really will find out who he is in his emails. He is so transparent and so open and comes from the heart in his emails. It's worth getting on that email list. And if you go over to the Birch Boys Chaga, there's all kinds of information, just a wealth of information of real health over on that website. I really encourage you to get there because taking charge of our health, being responsible for our bodies is so important these days. We want to say no to the toxins and say yes to the stuff that's going to help us stay healthier and feel great for years to come. So Garrett, thank you so much for joining us. It was a real treat to have you. And I'm excited about the sale for this month.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Okay, everyone, that's it for us today. Go forward. Have a great weekend. I hope your 4th of July was wonderful. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I really do. It just means the world to me. So thank you very much. And I will see you in the next video. Bye now.